It was a rainy Sunday afternoon when you found it, a dusty chest hidden behind your grandmother's faded curtains. The air thickened as you unlatched the decades-old lock, the metallic click echoing in the stillness. Inside lay brittle letters, postcards, and at the very bottom, a photograph that should never have existed. The photo was dated 1920, printed in yellowed ink at the corner, worn from time and touch. Yet staring back from the frame was your own face, modern, unmistakable, and impossibly unchanged. You felt your hands tremble as your pulse thundered in your ears. At first, you laughed, whispering to yourself that it must be a strange coincidence, an ancestor you resembled. But the tilt of the head, the wary eyes, the faint scar above the lip, every detail mirrored your reflection precisely. The edges of the image seemed to breathe beneath your fingertips. You brought the photo closer to the window, letting the storm's gray light fall across it. Thunder murmured low as drops splattered against the glass. The figure in the photograph appeared to move slightly, the eyes glinting, as though responding to the lightning outside. Searching for reason, you turned the photograph over, hoping for an inscription, anything that might explain it. Scrawled in thin, deliberate handwriting were 5 words: "Wait until the next eclipse." The ink looked fresh, as though written that same morning. The room felt colder now, your breath visible against the dim light. You walked toward the old mirror by the door, holding the photograph beside your face. For a fleeting instant, the reflection didn't align, it smiled before you did, lips curving a fraction late. At night, you couldn't sleep. The photograph haunted the edges of your thoughts, replaying every glance and glimmer. You searched the internet for vintage photography archives, desperate to disprove what you had seen, but no duplicates surfaced anywhere. Exhausted, you posted the image on a local history forum, asking if anyone recognized the location or the person. Replies poured in, most dismissed it as uncanny resemblance. Yet one message stood out, a user claiming they had seen the same face before. The anonymous message included coordinates to an abandoned estate just outside town. Your curiosity gnawed against fear as you realized the coordinates matched your grandmother's birthplace. A place forgotten by time, sealed since the late 1920s. In the morning, you made up your mind. You drove through winding backroads, rain slashing against the windshield, trees bowing under the wind's weight. The road ended at rusted iron gates cloaked in ivy, the estate barely visible through choking fog. Inside, the house groaned with old echoes, each step stirring motes of dust that shimmered in your flashlight beam. Portraits lined the corridor, each subject bearing the same haunting gaze. One frame was empty except for a smear of shadow. In the study, a cracked desk held a leather-bound journal. Its first entry dated March 1920, written by someone whose handwriting matched the back of your photograph. The final page ended mid-sentence, ink smeared by what looked like water, perhaps tears. You read under the flickering beam, feeling your pulse climb with each word. The author described experiments in time perception, a mirror said to reveal the returning ones. One entry warned that visions reversed after 1 century had passed. Thunder boomed outside as you found another photo between the pages, a group taken in front of the house, faces blurred except one. Again, it was you, standing in the back row, smiling faintly, colorless yet alive. The ink from the date bled faintly, 1922. An eerie realization settled like frost over your skin. The century mark had nearly come, 2022, the same month, the same week. Perhaps this photo was not an echo but a countdown, a cycle repeating every 100 years. You left the house shaken, clutching the journal and photo tight. The wind followed you down the long dirt road, whispering with your own voice buried inside the gusts. Darkness pressed close as your car struggled to start, headlights quivering in the heavy mist. At home, you sealed the items away, vowing to forget. But night after night, strange patterns formed in your window reflection, images of another era flickering behind you. The photograph's faint outline seemed burned into your vision. Days passed. One evening you noticed the photo's surface shifting, the background darkening as if the picture developed itself anew. Shadows deepened around the figure, you, standing farther away each time. Then came the sound of an old camera shutter clicking softly in the corner. Checked the source, heart pounding, but the room was empty. Yet an acrid scent of chemicals hung in the air, the smell of a darkroom long dormant. And there, on your desk, fresh film negatives lay drying, none of which you had taken. You held them up to the light, trembling. The images showed streets you'd never walked, people in early 20th century clothing, and among them, a figure watching from the corner, always the same, you. Each negative captured your presence a little clearer. Sleep deserted you. Every clock in your house began ticking out of rhythm, their chime distorted, delayed by seconds. You tore them from the walls, but the ticking continued, faint and directionless, threading through your heartbeat. The night before the eclipse, you woke to find the journal open beside your bed, though you had locked it away. A new line inked across the final page read, "When the light fades, step through." The handwriting, unmistakably your own. Distant hum filled the air outside as you stepped into the hallway. The walls pulsed gently, as though breathing. The air shimmered in corners of the house, bending like water, revealing glimpses of old wallpaper, old furniture, flickering between now and then. Drawn to the mirror, you saw not your reflection, but a room from the past, lit by gas lamps, air thick with smoke and whispers. The reflection figure reached out toward the glass in perfect timing, palm meeting yours, eyes dark and pleading. When you blinked, the reflection moved first, stepping back into shadow. Behind you, the ticking ceased entirely. The stillness felt alive, dense, charged with a silent storm waiting to break. Outside, the eclipse began, casting the neighborhood into a strange half-night. You stood in the center of your living room, photo in hand, as the shadow of the moon drowned the sun. The edges of everything began to blur, walls, furniture, yourself. You looked once more at the photograph. The figure, yourself, was now smiling fully, eyes bright with dark light. The background had changed, it was no longer the past but your own house, frozen under the same ghostly half-light. Photo grew warm in your hand, then hot. You dropped it to the floor, and in that instant, the air fractured with a sharp crack like shattering glass. Voices murmured briefly, overlapping time itself, calling your name in tones neither human nor familiar. When the light returned, everything was calm. The photo had vanished, and your reflection stood perfectly still again, too still. You moved, and it did not. Its smile lingered a fraction longer, eyes narrowing as though savoring control. Your phone buzzed violently. Unknown number, a text with an image attachment. You opened it, the same photograph from 1920, but now digitally pristine, time-stamped 5 minutes ago. You froze, staring into your own eyes again, that impossible century of silence folding into a single, terrible instant. A faint reflection appeared on your phone's surface, someone standing behind you, their outline merging perfectly with your own. Screen flickered once more and went dark. Somewhere behind you, the faint shutter sound clicked again, old, mechanical, final. You turned, but the room was empty except for a faint scent of developer and burned paper. Days later, neighbors reported seeing flashes through your windows, brief, blinding bursts of light, like a camera strobe from another century. The authorities found no trace of you inside, only a single photograph on the floor, fresh and still developing. In that photograph, a stranger stood beneath the eclipsed sky, holding an old camera. But those who looked closer, those who dared to zoom in, swore the reflection in the camera's lens was looking back, alive, waiting for them to notice. The chest in your grandmother's attic remains, sealed again, waiting for its next discoverer. Somewhere beneath layers of dust, the past hums with electricity, cameras clicking softly in the dark, promising that nothing ever truly stays gone.